Hey there, I'm the Mad Catster, and my glad to see you here. Boy, we've got some updates on the lawsuit front for the Ace family. It looks like the lawsuits between LiveXLive and the Ace family have now been settled. It hasn't been reported to the courts yet, but it's being reported in the press, and we're going to talk about it right now, so let's get into it. Welcome back, you guys, and first of all, I'd like to thank Sloan for drawing my attention to this story today because it has not been reported to the courts yet, but apparently it looks like Austin McBroom and LiveXLive, who is now known as Live One, have finally settled their competing lawsuits against each other. Unless you've been hiding under a rock, you'll probably remember last summer was the failed Social Gloves event. The event that was put on by Austin McBroom and the company that he started is called Social Gloves, and the aftermath of that absolute dismal disaster was that a lot of people complained because no one had gotten paid, and there were a flurry of lawsuits that went on, and Austin McBroom had originally predicted that it would bring in about $62 million, and in reality it only brought in about $6 million. So Austin McBroom began bad-mouthing LiveXLive, which by the way is now known as Live One. They changed their name last fall. And Austin McBroom then filed suit against LiveXLive, claiming that they mismanaged the event and there was a breach of contract, and he was looking for them to pay out, saying that it was all their fault. And then it turned out that in reality it was because Austin refused to listen to the advice that LiveXLive gave him, and given that they are the professionals, you would think that maybe he would have listened, but no. So the event fell flat, no one got paid, and he filed suit against them for breach of contract, and they turned around the next day and filed a $100 million lawsuit against Austin McBroom, alleging that he was defaming them and that he was hurting their business and hurting their prospects for business, which, although if you look at their numbers, which I'll put up in a little bit, they're not hurting for money. It looks like they're doing pretty well, despite all the lawsuits that they've been fighting off recently. Now it looks like we're going to have finally a resolution, and it looks like they've agreed to end both lawsuits, and the result is going to be that LiveXLive is going to pay out $3 million of the proceeds, which is probably all that's left after all the other bills have now been paid, and it's just a pittance compared to what it was supposed to be. So it's not going to end up being much money at all, but at least I guess they're getting something, if that's a consolation. But I sure hope Austin McBroom isn't getting anything because of the fact that this is all really on his head. There is no reporting about what the actual exact terms are. We just know from the reporting by Billboard and some other press outlets that it's going to be a $3 million payout by LiveXLive to end both lawsuits. According to SEC filings by LiveXLive, and I'll put it up right here, you'll see at the end of last year, they reported that the matter was settling and outlining the details of the lawsuit. And it looks like now, according to reports, that's Clarice has come to say hello. But anyways, what's apparently going to happen is LiveXLive is going to take $3 million of the proceeds from the event, and just goes to show you how little it actually made. I think it was like $6 million total over the millions and millions of dollars that Austin McBroom had predicted. So Austin and Taylor Holder had already settled their lawsuit, and with only $3 million being there available to pay, as you can imagine, it's really going to be only a fraction of what these people who never got paid were due. And I would be surprised if Austin McBroom gets any of it because it is such a little amount. But anyways, that will take care of these two remaining lawsuits between Austin McBroom and LiveXLive, or Live One as they're now called. I was taking a look also. It's interesting that LiveXLive has several lawsuits going. I'll put a couple of them up here. They've been sued for allegations of breach of contract by other people. However, their earnings report, as you can see here, is actually really good. So they're bringing in the money, and it's unfortunate that Austin McBroom didn't take their advice when he had the opportunity, because that event last summer, Social Gloves, probably could have been a success. I know that there's been murmuring by Austin McBroom that there was another event that was going to be coming up, but I don't know who in their right mind is going to sign on with him unless they get cash up front or some other type of guarantee, because clearly after this fiasco, he's not a good credit risk in my opinion. By the way, Sybil is here with me, purring away. I don't know if you can hear her. So that's the story with those two. Now, nothing has been filed with the courts. I will be keeping an eye out. They should be filing something. I doubt they're going to file the actual settlement agreement, so we won't probably get a look at the actual terms of that unless somebody leaks it. But they should be filing a stipulation of dismissal with the court, and it should be with prejudice, which means that suit cannot be brought again by either of these parties against each other for these same allegations that were made in these two lawsuits. So that's the end of those two. We know that Austin settled with Taylor Holder, and it remains to be seen whether there are going to be any other arrangements forthcoming. I know there's one other lawsuit that was pending, and I'm not sure if it still is because nothing has been posted in a while on the court's website, but I will keep an eye on it. That's the story with the social gloves litigation. It's finally coming to an end. We'll move on to the next chapter of the Ace family's antics. There's one in particular that I'm going to be making a video about and hopefully either posting as well today, or I may be posting it tomorrow, but just super, super cringe. Just the things that they've done lately. There's a couple of things in particular, but one thing that in my mind was over the top, and I'll report on that to you later. But anyways, thank you so much for joining me. Sybil thanks you. Clarice thanks you. The other cats thank you. There's cats sleeping around me that you cannot see. But Sybil says hello. She's my little girl. She's always with me. And I will see you in the next video, which should be tomorrow. Take care.
Pretty please. Subscribe, like, and hit the bell. I get a treat for every new sub. Thank you.